Hello everyone. Today we will discuss part 2 of the CSS grid. Yesterday we saw how we can put the CSS grid properties to the container and item and can implement the layout on the both directional sides. Today we will discuss about the properties which we are yet to discuss. Okay. So we will start with our session. So we have one property for grid template areas. Okay, this is useful when you are dealing with semantic UI. Okay, when you are using the semantic HTML like the header, footer, like elements. Okay, like this header, navigation bar, then your main content of the page. Okay, and then footer part. Okay, so this content, okay, will be stacked on one each other. Okay, so they will be like on single line. Okay, they will be like block level elements. All these are block level elements, so they will be placed one after another. Okay, so if you want to create a layout, proper layout of this also, you can use grid. Okay, so for this purpose only, I'm showing this grid template areas will be used. So what I'm mentioning here, okay, I am just dividing. If this is one web page, okay, which I'm going to implement, so I will divide this web page into 3 into 3 grid. Okay, and my first row should be of header. Okay, the header component should take whole row. Okay, of that 3 into 3 grid, it should take whole space. Okay, whole 3 cells. Okay, it will have 3 cells on the first row, so it should take that space. Okay, then on the second row, okay, it should take 2 cells. Main content of my web page should take 2 cells of the second row, and then on the second row, third cell should be taken by sidebar. Then we have third row, which will have again same thing. Footer will take 2 cells, and remaining single cell will be taken by sidebar. Okay, now I have four components, and for those four components I have applied another CSS. Okay, item 1, item 2, item 3, item 4. Okay, along with this grid item, which is common CSS for each and every block. Okay, that we already saw that it has background color and border. Now here I am using a property grid area and mentioning header. Okay, this will be become header, grid area article. So item 2 will become article. Item 3 I am giving sidebar. Okay, and then footer. Whatever the names, okay, whatever the entity you have mentioned here, you need to tag here to that particular element. Okay, so I will show you the result here. So as you can see here, item 1 has taken whole space. It has taken all 3 cells, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this is item 1. Then item 2 has taken 2 cells of the second row, and the item 4 has taken the 2 cells of the third row. While item 3, which I have given as a sidebar, has taken 1 cell from the second row and 1 cell from the third row. So see, you can see like this. So again, this is another way if you want to go with semantic way. Okay, instead of like this grid template columns and grid template rows, instead of this way you can go with area wise also. As you remember, this multiple group of cells becomes grid area. So you want to go with grid area wise layout, so you can go with this property grid template areas. Okay, so this is one thing, one way of doing the layout. Okay, using grid area. 1 second guys. This is not dynamic actually, because there is nothing which we have put here on the code level. Means if I just change size, so it will change the size. Okay, it will not be dynamic, like it will move your component from one section to. However, if I just reduce the size, it will reduce the size of that block also. So this is not a true responsive. Okay, true responsive is one thing that whatever size I have given, it will maintain, and it will shift layout based on the size available. So just reducing the size of the block is not a true responsiveness. Okay, responsiveness is like whatever the width size available, it should show our content in it's pure format, okay, in better format, and it will change the layout, okay, depending on the device size. It will change the layout, and it will not just keep the same static layout and just reduce the width, okay. So this is not a dynamic or proper responsive, okay. Now we understood about all the layout using grid template columns, grid template rows, and then gap and all those things. I will explain you about another thing. So remove let me just comment this part. So let me create again those 3 into 3 grid, okay. And we'll create that 3 into 3 row in like 2 1 f repeat 3 comma 1 fr. Okay, so we have 3 into 3 grid. We have 9 elements, and they are, we can see it. Okay, so right now, if I just inspect these elements, so it is like 247.73 into 120 something, whatever the size it has, okay, in the height, okay, height is 400 pixel. So it given 120, 120, 120. So whatever it can accommodate inside it, it has given the random value depending on the calculation, okay, depending on the calculation. And I never define the template row, okay. As I told you, if you remember, if you know how many rows we can have, like in our case, I know that there are 9 elements, so I will require 3 into 3 grid. So I can directly mention repeat. For rows also, I can explicitly mention how many rows it will have. So 3 into, I can provide 100 pixel like this, and it will be 100 pixel. See, 243.73 into 100, height is 100 pixel now, okay. So this is explicit thing, okay. But there are scenario when you don't know how many rows it will have. The data is dynamic and which is coming from backend from database, and you don't know how many product categories are there, if new category has added, if some of the categories are removed. So you don't know number of categories and how many categories are present. So as I told you yesterday only, we use dynamic one and responsive one like this: autofill, min max, 150 pixel, comma 1 fr. Okay, to create a dynamic grid. So as you can see, it accommodates almost 6 blocks on first row and 3 block on the second row. If I decrease the uh, size of the viewport, it will again change. So it now become 3 into 3. If I again increase it, it is accommodating 4 blocks on each row. Okay. If I increase 5 blocks, and if I increase more again, it is 6 block on the one row. So this is dynamic depending on your size, width of the viewport. It is showing me the data. Okay. So as you can see, rows are increasing as soon as my per row blocks are decreasing. Like from 6 I came to 3 blocks per row. So 3 rows are created. Previously it was only 2 rows. Now here we have 3 rows. So automatic row generation is created. Okay, now it is almost 5 rows. Okay, so rows are automatically generated. Okay, and their size will be automatically calculated. If I inspect here, so size is 26.67, height 26.67, 26.67. Whatever the container height is present, it will just divide it and it will give the equal height to each and every one. But if I want this automatic rows should have some space, like proper height, okay, then I can provide it like this, okay, like grid auto rows, okay, and then I can provide, I want minimum 100 pixel height of that row, okay, each and every row should have 100 pixel, okay, like this. So now you can see we have 100 pixel. I will go to item 1. So see, we have 100 pixel in height, okay. So this one has overflown outside the container, okay, it has overflown outside the container. Let me remove this inspect element, and still this will be 100 pixel only, okay. It now visible like that, it will be 100 pixel, whether if I decrease this much also it is overflown, okay. So for automatic rows generation, when you don't specify exact rows count, okay, so in this case you can have grid auto rows. And okay, so we have this 3 into 3 grid. Now the concept which is remaining is that the placement of your content or placement of your grid in the parent container, okay, or grid container. This is our grid container, okay, and this is our main grid, okay. So now this placement is at the start of the horizontal axis. So if you want to make it in the center, at the end, okay, so you can do it. So this is very similar like what we saw in the flex box concept also. So same like this, we have different things, okay. So I will show you about them. So first thing is the justify content. So same thing, center, end, and then like start, okay, space around, space between, and space evenly. So if I put start, you will not see any difference because by default it is at the start, okay. If I do change it for end, so it will go to end. The one which you are saying flex end, it is for flex, okay. So don't use it here, use end only, okay. So its placement become at this end of the horizontal axis, okay, at this one. If I put center, so this placement will be the grid, whole grid will be at the center. So this is like here I will just show you. So this is your whole container, flex container, and inside that flex container you have this grid with 3 into 3, like this. So you can move this grid from start to center to the end. So this is justify. Here in this case, justify will be on the horizontal axis, okay, on your row axis, okay, row axis or horizontal axis. Mostly it is called row axis in the terminology of the CSS grid. So on row axis, start, center, and end, okay, and then you can have space between, space around, space evenly. So it will just divide your the this thing, okay. I can cut I can cut let me just show you directly here. So if I put space evenly, so my box will be spaced evenly at the left, between, at the right, and between also evenly space will be there between them, okay. If I put space around, so it will be here, if it is having 100 pixel, so it will have 100 pixel plus here 100 pixel, 200 pixel, 200 pixel, and 100 pixel. So it is space around the your block, and space between will be, space will be between the blocks and not at the left and right hand side. So see, there is no space on the left and right hand side, but it will be space between them, okay. So this is justify content. Let me remove it, okay. So this is justify content. uh, Now I will show you the item level, means, so actually there is another thing. So we have grid, and inside grid, for each cell our elements are taking space, okay. So there is two property here, justify item and then align item. Okay, so just like justify content, justify item will work on the row axis, okay, on horizontal level, but for individual, what we can say, for individual cell, individual element, for it will be applied to all individual elements, okay, to all individual elements and inside this cell, okay, inside this cell. So by default, what happened? Its value, its default value is at the stretch, okay. Stretch means whatever the width of the cell, take that width of the cell, okay, whole width of that cell. For same with align also, okay. So both the justify item and align item are default values are stretch, so the elements stretch and take whole cell space. So it will be like, it will be taking whole space, it will take whole space. So let me just remove the justify, okay. So I will do justify items. I will put stretch first to show there is no difference. See, there is no difference. I will reload it. But as soon as I put start, okay, that I want my element at the start, okay, so I will save it. So see, it is now taking only the space which is responsible for to accommodate the content only, okay, and not stretching to take whole cell space, okay. I will inspect. So see, the dark violet is the gap, okay, gap between the grid. So you can see there is width remaining in each cell, but our element, our boxes are taking width that is sufficient to take, sufficient to accommodate only content on horizontal level, okay, content on horizontal level, okay. Previously, always by default it is stretch, so that's why its width stretch to accommodate whole width of that cell, okay. If I do end, it will come at the end. So if you can see, it is at the end of that cell, at the end row axis, horizontally it is moving. I can put center, and it is at the center of that cell. So this becomes horizontally I am moving them. Now if I put align items, okay, so for align items again same thing, I will go with start. So see, height is reduced and just sufficient enough to keep our content. So you can see the height was this much, maybe what we put here 150 pixel is the height of that cell, okay, and it was taking whole 150 pixel, sorry, no, this is column, row, whatever the row size. Let me, no, it will not show right now. Let me just do stretch again. Okay, so previously the height was 120 pixel, the cell height was 120 pixel, so it is stretching and taking that whole height. But now if I do it start, so now it will take only the height which is sufficient to accommodate our content, okay. And now it is vertically at the start, all the all the elements are vertically at the start of the cell, okay, at the top. If I put end here, it will be at the bottom of your cell, and it is center horizontally because I put justify item center, okay. I put justify item center, so that's why it is center, and vertically it is at the end. So I will just move them at the center again, like this. So see, the our element is at the center of the cell, fine. So they if you know your property will have same value, justify item and align item, you can replace these two property with place items, okay, and provide center, okay, like this. So it will be, I will just comment it out. So see, there is no effect and it is center because it applied justify item center and align item center at one in the one go. Now if you don't, if your values are different, like here it has start and here it has center, So what you need to do, you can do center for align item and start for the justify item. So first value will be for align item and second value will be for justify item. So if I save it, so see, horizontally it is at start and vertically it is at center. Vertically it is at center, horizontally at the start. So this is what we saw. Okay, justify item and align item, that we can put it like place items. Okay, so we are done with the how we can place our element inside the cell. Okay, this is for inside the cell. Fine. Now again, for we saw for justify content, and I will put center. So this is now center. Okay, our grid is now at the center of our uh, center of that what you can say, center of the container, a flex contain grid container. We can move the grid. Okay, move the grid in vertically also. Okay, so for that I need to change the size for this like 700 pixel. Fine. Now I will put align content as start. Okay, so now you can see align content is at the start of that top of the box container. See, the grid is now first it was like stretch. Again here also it will work like stretch, so that's why it was taking whole length. Okay, whole height. So if you remember, if I remove all this property, okay, let me just remove it. So see, it was taking whole height. Why it was taking whole height? Because I didn't mention the rows. Okay, if I mention rows like grade template rows and repeat 3 comma what I will do 50 pixel. Okay, so see, this is now 50 pixel. It is now taking not taking whole space, but previously I wasn't mentioning this one, so that's why it is taking whole space. And align content was on the default value, so it was taking like this. As soon as I put start, it reduced the size for specific to content level. Okay, fine. So better I will do grid template rows repeat 3 comma 80 pixel. Okay, so our scenario is, this is our correct scenario, that I want my blocks to be 150 pixel and height in 80 pixel, but our container is very large. Now I want to move it. So first I want horizontally to move it in the center. So what I will do, I will do align content center. Okay, I will do align content as a center. Okay, sorry, justify content first. Horizontally I move it to center. Okay, horizontally it is moved in the center. Now I want this to be vertically also center. So what I will do, align content and center. So now this is aligned center. Okay, so now vertically also it is center, horizontally it is center, so it is correct at the center place of the grid container. Understood? And if we use this property also along with it, so this will look like this. So the box size will reduce because we use center and start instead of default values of stretch, and then it will take only the space which is they can accommodate the content. Okay, and not extra space it will take. Understood? And this whole content is at the center of our grid. Okay, this whole content is at the center of the grid because we use justify content center, align content center. Justify content to horizontally place our grid. Okay, grid, I am talking about grid. Content for whole grid, item for each and every individual item. Okay, and same concept horizontally and vertically. And even this one I can put like place items. First it will be for center and then start. I can comment this one, and for this one also we have place content. Again, first one for align content and second one for align justify content. Align content center, justify content center, and instead of putting like this I can just mention single value. Okay, that's it, because our both the values are same. Save it, and still we have our content at the center of the grid container. Okay, and not, is there anything remaining? Grid auto rows columns I explain. I will check into some of the part of grid auto columns. Okay, grid column start and column end, I think I described you this thing. I think I, one second. I will uncomment this one. We will go to default, our default grid. Okay, here if you remember, we have grid column start, and then I need to mention line, grid lines. If you remember, these are the grid lines 1, 2, 3, 4, column wise and row wise 1, 2, 3. So let me remove this template rows, so it will take automatic rows. Okay, so here my first item will start from 1 and end at the 3. Okay, at line number 3. Same for this one also, at 3, and then end at 4. Okay, and I will make this row start row from 1 and take 2 cells on rows. I'm just applying these values to only 2 items, 2 elements. So as you can see, as I told item 1 to take space from column start 1 first grid line to third grid line. So first, second, third. Okay, and then on item 2 I told that column start 3 to 4. So this is 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4, and row wise it is starting from 1 to 3. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. So it has taken 2 cells on the rows. Okay, this we can change it like this: grid row 1 comma 1 slash 3. I can comment this one, and this one also we can change it to grid column 1 3 3 slash 4. Instead of this I can use shorthand property like grid column 1 slash 3, and we see the same result. Okay, and if I put 1 to 4. Okay, so see 1 to 4, item 1 has taken whole space 1 to 4. Fine, and item 2, that is this one, 3 to 4, and maybe it is taking almost another space. I need to remove this part. Okay, so item 2 has taken 2 cells row wise. Fine, and item 1 has taken all the, item 1 has taken 4 grid lines, that is 3 cells horizontally. So it is looking like this to us. So it depends on how logic the browser will apply. Okay, so right now this one is taking whole space. Okay, so it is like 1 to 4, and this one wants to start from 1 to 3. Okay, so just understand why it work like it. So as our item 2 wants to start from row 1. Okay, it want to start from row 1. Okay, and still 3, 1, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so after two rows, okay, after two rows, item 1 has taken place. Why? Because item 1 wants this whole three cells, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you remember, so if this is our grid, now this is not a just one example. One second. One second. I will go with Excel. Ours is the 3 into 3. So okay. So as I told here, for item 2, go for grid row 1 to 3. Okay, grid line 1 to 3. So this is our grid line 1, the topmost point, grid line 1, 2 and 3. So take 3 cells. Now we didn't mention about column size. So it will take only one column size. Okay, so it will take one column size. So it take this space first. Okay, item 2 take this space. Okay, first it will appear from here, because we already mentioned that from 1, start from 1. So that's why it takes place on the first two rows. Okay, and after that the item 1 wants to start from 1, column 1 to 4. So it is like from 1 to 4. Okay, and as it requires these four all the three cells, okay, as it require all three cells, it can't start from here because it will take only two cells. Okay, so that's why it starts from the next line and it takes this space. So this is our item 1 and this is our item 2. Because of the logic we applied from grid line 1 start, okay, we tell item 2 that start from grid line 1. So that's why it starts from grid line 1. Okay, and this space we have, okay, this space we have, but it can't use, the item 1 can't use this space, okay, because it wants to accommodate all three cells, and here it has only two cells on row wise. So that's why it starts from the next line. Okay, like this. So this is the result we have right now. Okay, so we will stop the session right now. If you have any doubt, you can put your doubts in the comment section, and we can wrap up our call, and we will meet tomorrow on for the next topic. Thank you guys, and bye.